and as well act on time to avert lateness in cultivation. The youth farm in Kundam is multipurpose in character, as the youth in the region start utilizing it for both the cultivation of cash crops such as corn and beans, and at the same time for bread-making venture to equally generate income for their livelihood. The minister and delegation also joined in the planting of over 300 mahogany trees at Chairman Agriculture Training and Seed Multiplication Center. Yasin Khan of WAB was part of the delegation, and she gave her impression of the tour.
For me, it's quite impressive. I think farmers have really, or Gambians have really worked on very hard to respond to the call of the president regarding the battery land call. It's quite impressive. We've seen women vigorously and actively involved in rice production. We've seen men visiting some of the innovation platform fields, like in Mamufana, in Jim Farmer Youth's village. You know, it's quite everything is quite impressive. It's like farmers got the seeds on time, they got the fertilizer on time, and they've also got technical advice from the Department of Agriculture. Research and agriculture have definitely supported the farmers, and it's very, very pleasing and quite impressive.
It's been hectic, but it's been very, very informative and very educative. Today we can reliably assess the 2013 cropping season as far as crop production is concerned. The season has been very good so far. The rains came late, and the only problem I foresaw at the time was late planting. As you know, most crops should be planted before the 15th of July. And this year, by the 15th of July, the rains had not fully established. But I am so impressed with what I have seen so far, in the sense that the crops have really picked up.
About the issue of pricing the farm produce such as groundnut, Minister Owen has this to say.
Formerly, we had a problem with marketing our agricultural produce. Today, market is the least of our worries, because whatever a farmer can produce can be sold. The problem is the marketing channel. Now, taking for example groundnuts, the Gambia depends on the export of groundnuts to earn foreign exchange. Last year, for example, the commercial crop was put at about 80,000 metric tons. Now, when GGC reported what they bought, it was less than 30,000 tons, because a lot of the ground, it was all marketed, but it didn't go through the formal system. Now, farmers are seeing the prices being offered by the government sector or the government-supported institutions like GGC is not as attractive as what what we call them flight-by-night purchasers do pay. And as the chief mentioned, we'll look at that together with the Minister of Finance and the Minister of Trade.
However, one way to really ensure food security is to put the philosophy of President Jammeh's "eat what we grow and grow what we eat" into practice. When properly implemented, the drive to ensure food self-sufficiency in the country will solely be on a more stronger footing. Buba SMCC, GRTS.
The pilgrimage to the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia continues to inch closer, and officials in charge of the complex operation are not relenting in their efforts to keep intending pilgrims and their sponsors up to date on developments. Our farmer Kanye sat down with Gambia International Airlines Commercial Director Lavin Cham for an interview on new developments, and here is an excerpt of that interview.
Everything is going fine. We will start to work on the Hajj visas. Therefore, we are calling on every intending pilgrim, if you honestly want to go and perform Hajj this year by the 7th of September next month, all the passports for all the intending pilgrims should be intact with GIA, because we have already started punching passport details into the Saudi Hajj visa website. So meaning that we want to punch all the passports before the officials arrive here. So we are urging and advising all the intending pilgrims to submit their passports and medical documents to GIA by the 7th of September. That same day, we are inviting all the intending pilgrims to a very important sensitization meeting at the Paradise Suites Hotel, at 9 a.m. Important matters relating to Hajj would be discussed. Religious issues relating to Hajj would be discussed. So intended pilgrims who are in the provinces, we are calling on them to come to the combos, to the urban areas by the 6th of September, so that by the 7th of September, everybody will assemble at the Paradise Suites Hotel for this very important meeting. On Sunday, that is the 8th of September, all the intended pilgrims should gather at the buffer zone at Talinding for the usual practical simulation of the Hajj. We wanted to put the pilgrims to a test. If you perform something by doing it, you know it better, so that when they get to Saudi, they'll be able to perform better.
Jai Commercial Director Labin Cham discussing the 2013 Hajj operation there. Practitioners from the print and electronic media recently gathered for a day-long briefing on iodine deficiency disorders. The program, organized by the National Nutrition Agency with support from UNICEF, forms part of efforts aimed at discouraging the consumption of non-iodized salt. Ominjai has the details of that story.
An essential mineral needed by the body in small amounts for growth and development, particularly for the brain. Inadequate consumption of iodine has several health consequences called iodine deficiency disorders. The principal cause of iodine deficiency is low content of mineral iodine in diet. NANA, the agency mandated with the control of food and nutrition in the country, saw the need to raise public awareness of the use of iodine. The agency this time around gathered members of the Association of Health Journalists at its premises to sensitize them on iodine deficiency disorders. Participants were urged to relate the lessons learned from this meeting to the rest of the public.
Iodine is very important for the growth and development, particularly of the brain. We know when children are born, their brains have developed to almost about 50% or 60%. The extra percentage that is developed occur outside the mother's womb, and iodine play a key role in developing that brain. If the child lacks iodine, or if the mother lacks iodine, the likelihood of delivering a baby of low birth weight is very great.
The Gambia falls within the regions where iodine deficiency disorders are serious medical and social problems. However, salt iodization is an ideal vehicle for the addition of micronutrients, given that the entire population consumes salt.
A person that is lacking in iodine can have a drop in his IQ for 10 to 15 IQ points, which is a very serious implication, because it makes that person's educational career or performance reduced. Well, one may say, well, in the past we're seeing a reduction in the performance in our school systems. Could this be an implication of iodine deficiency in the country? It's a question that one can ponder over.
According to the acting Deputy Executive Director of NANA, several measures are being taken towards combating iodine deficiency disorders in the country.
One of those strategies is to increase our local production of salt, as well as the quality of the salt that we produce in the country. In this country, we consume almost 80,000 tons of salt annually. This is both for human and animal consumption. However, we only produce 10% of that, or less than 10% of what we consume in the country. But there is huge potential for us to increase that 10% to about 30 or 40%.
Iodine deficiency disorders have many other consequences. Among them are reproductive failures, child mortality, growth retardation, goiter, deformities, and scratching. According to health officials, to eliminate iodine deficiency disorders, 90% of households in the Gambia should consume adequately iodized salt. With journalists at the force of news dissemination, vital messages that resonated within the four corners of this Nana Hall could have a positive bearing on the lives of the citizenry, if only they are propagated by the media practitioners. Umijai, GRTS.
Bashar al-Assad asked the United Nations to prevent aggression as the White House seeks congressional support for a military strike, plus former Egyptian leader Mohamed Morsi to stand trial for a host of charges